Supreme God Emperor Chapter 1, 10,000 years later. Boom. A bang sounded, and a painful sensation came from his forehead, and Mu Yun opened his eyes with difficulty. This is where? Mu Yun was a little confused. The entrance is a classroom, but Mu Yun is not sitting in the student's position, but standing on the front podium. Looking at the students who were about 15 or 16 years old in the audience, with their eyes wide open, watching monsters staring at him, Mu Yun shook his dazed head. Am I dead? How come I am here? Tianyun Continent, Nanyun Empire. I'm not dead. I crossed it. This guy is also called Mu Yun. This is a coincidence, right? But what age is it now? After a brief memory fusion, Mu Yun stood alone on the podium, wearing an ink-colored gown, talking to himself. But, crossing over to this guy, it seems, a bit unlucky. This Mu Yun was an illegitimate child, and was not treated by the eldest wife of the family father. Moreover, he was a waste of cultivation since he was a child, and he did not please his father. As a result, 10 years ago, he was sent from Nanyun City, the capital of the Nanyun Empire, to the Mujia branch of the remote Baiyun City. However, when he came to North Cloud City, Mu Yun was even more unbearable. In the separation of the family, he was also dubbed the title of rubbish. He had no status and even his servants dared to bully him. Fortunately, this young master can't practice martial arts, he just likes to read books. The separation also thought that he was the eldest son of the Mu family after all, and it was a bit embarrassing to do nothing, so he got the status of a mentor in Baiyun Academy in Baiyun City. On weekdays, explain to students some knowledge of alchemy and refining tools, which are also things in the books, just follow the reading. Logically speaking, it is very easy. However, Mu Yun was dull in nature, was bullied since he was a child, and had a cowardly personality. Lectures are also extremely tormenting for him. Over time, the students in the entire class also understood the personality of this instructor, knew his name, and gradually ignored him. Damn! I didn't expect you to be so unlucky. Don't worry, we are the same now. In the future, no one will disrespect you again. After sorting out his thoughts, Mu Yun was confident. Oh, Instructor Mu, who are you talking to? It's not a piece of chalk from the student that turned you into cerebral palsy, right? Just as Mu Yun merged with his memory, a loud laughter sounded in his ears, and finally, the entire class of students couldn't help but laugh. Be quiet. Mu Yun's face was cold, staring at the laughing student, suddenly shouted. In his previous life, as the supreme fairy king in the world, Mu Yun was very disgusted. When he was thinking about problems, others interrupted him. When Mu Yun yelled, the entire class of 30 or 40 students suddenly fell silent, each of them opened their mouths wide, staring at the instructor in front of them dumbfounded, as if looking at a monster. What age is it now? Does Kohai Tianzuan still care about the 3,000 small world? Mu Yun didn't care about the many students who were dumbfounded, and said casually. However, as soon as Mu Yun said this, the mouths of the 30 or 40 students changed from an inverted duck egg shape to an upright goose egg shape, staring at Mu Yun like an idiot. Ha! Suddenly, a brazen laughter sounded again, still the student. He was dressed in a white martial arts uniform with his hair tied behind his head. He was about 15 or 16 years old, and he was pretty long, but the appearance of laughter was not flattering. Mo Yang, what are you laughing at? Incorporating the memory of Mu Yun, who was robbed of her own house, Mu Yun knew that this student, named Mo Yang, was the most troublesome guy on weekdays. Instructor Mu, outsiders have always said that you are just a who can read but cannot practice martial arts. I think they are completely wrong. Mo Yang laughed loudly. To say that you are rubbish, it is an insult to the word rubbish. Are you stupid reading a book, right? Kohai Tianzuan, those are legends thousands of years ago, exist. I don't know if it doesn't exist, you still ask, and ask him, haha. Mo Yang couldn't straighten up his waist almost with a smile. He lay on the table, pointed at Mu Yun, and burst into tears. 10,000 years ago? Mu Yun was taken aback. Unexpectedly, he was born again after 10,000 years. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 2, Want to fix me? However, tens of thousands of years, for the old antiques in the thousands of big worlds, it is just a blink of an eye. Going back to revenge, they have time. Thinking of being the supreme fairy king in his previous life, but being murdered by a group of treacherous villains, an anger rose in Mu Yun's heart. Seeing Mo Yang still there laughing, Mu Yun's mouth turned slightly. It seems that these children, without giving them a lesson, really thought they were the Mu Yun who had been bullied. However, I have to say that this Mu Yun is really weak in his body. The 19-year-old Mu Yun couldn't even count as a body-tempered state, and had no power to bind a chicken. It's no wonder that these students were so bold in his class. Tutor Mu, you haven't answered the student's question yet. Just as Mu Yun was staring at Mo Yang and was ready to teach this guy, a beautiful female voice suddenly sounded. A female student stood up from her seat, smiled sweetly, stared at Mu Yun, and said in a sweet voice, "Instructor Mu, the students don't understand, why do you need to add dead leaves when refining Bai Ling Dan?" Turning his eyes from Mo Yang to the girl who asked the question, Mu Yun almost didn't have a nosebleed. A look in the girl's chest was cut fiercely, and Mu Yun had only one word in his heart. Childlike big breasts. A low-cut blouse and skirt, there is no way to hide the magnificent mountain peaks, long ponytails, until the waist, the small waist with a full grip, it seems to be broken at a pinch, it is unimaginable, this slender waist, how to bear the weight of the chest. Under the short skirt, a beautiful leg of the tabletop was exposed, which looked as bright as a jade. This little girl, when she grows up, is definitely a disaster for the country and the people. However, Mu Yun knew that this little girl named Miao Xianyu was really a little fairy who could not pay for his life. Mu Yun knew that this was another conspiracy that these students wanted to embarrass him, and wanted to make him embarrassed. Alchemy. Mu Yun smiled. Want to fix me? No way. As the supreme immortal king of thousands of great worlds, alchemy, and refining tools, for Mu Yun, it is really easy to grasp, and this is only the heavenly luck continent under 3,000 small worlds. However, many students in the class also laughed when they heard the question asked by Miao Xinyu. The smile was gloomy. This question seems simple, but it has a deep explanation. They believe that with Mu Yun's knowledge reserves, they can answer it, which is strange. Dozens of students were waiting for their tutor to make a fool of themselves again. They were already used to seeing Mu Yun's embarrassment when he couldn't answer the question. Bai Ling pill is a first-class pill. For warriors who step into the physical double bone forging realm, it can improve their bone quality, so that when they step into the physical triple easy tendon realm, the tenacity of the muscles and veins will be more complete. Mu Yun talked eloquently. Bai Ling Dan is made by combining the 3 herbs of dead leaf grass, Bai Ling Hua and Guemu root. Bai Ling Hua has enough aura, so it needs Guemu root to synthesize it. However, the cassia root tastes bitter, and the bitter taste will affect the aura texture of the Bailing flower, and it happens that dead leaf grass can get rid of the bitterness of the cassia root. Moreover, the most important point is that dead leaf grass seems to contain only withering properties, but it contains strong vitality in its roots. Adding it can make the spirituality of Bailing Hua and the root of cassia would perfectly combine, and improve the efficacy of Bailing Dan. Little beauty, am I right? Mu Yun smiled coolly, staring at Miao Xinyu's towering chest slightly provocatively. Hearing how Lim Yun's pastoral instructor talked eloquently, the students were dumbfounded. Why did the shepherd teacher, who would blush after just a few words, suddenly changed his temper today? Pills can't be refined by anyone. Miao Xianyu has a different background. She has shown a talent for alchemy since she was a child. Everyone wants to see from her eyes, is this shepherd teacher talking nonsense? You got it right. Miao Xian pouted his lips in a huff, his chest was constantly rising and falling, and a wave of waves swept across. However, it is a bit difficult to understand that the tutor of animal husbandry who is usually dull and sluggish, the big idiot of animal husbandry, can actually answer this question today. This question seems simple, but withered leaf grass can promote the perfect combination of Bailing Hua's spirituality and cassia root. Even some 2-star alchemists don't know, she only learned about it after her grandfather's teaching. Mongolian. Miao Xianyu comforted herself, this guy must be blind. Correct. Suddenly, Miao Xianyu smiled, as if thinking of something, looked at Mu Yun with a smirk. Grandpa said that there was an alchemy problem that had been bothering him. With Muyun's little urine, he definitely couldn't answer it. This question can definitely make Mu Yun embarrassed. Teacher Mu, there is a question, I have troubled the students for a long time. Miao Xianyu said, stepping onto the podium, Teacher Mu has ever heard of the spirit gathering pill? Gathering pill. As soon as this remark came out, the whole class became quiet. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 3, Gathering Pill. All of them knew about gathering pill. The spirit gathering pill is a third-grade pill. In the entire Beiyun city, there are no more than one alchemist who can refine this pill. North Cloud City is a corner city of the Southern Cloud Empire, and the highest-ranking alchemist is only a 3-star alchemist. Gathering pill? Mu Yun was stunned. The spirit gathering pill is the best elevating pill from the 7th stage condensation stage of the body tempering realm to the 8th stage pill gathering stage. It was only in the previous life. He remembered that it was the most basic trial pill for an alchemist to get started. Seeing Mu Yun's stunned and stupid look, Miao Xianyu smiled triumphantly. The spirit gathering pill is a third-grade pill, and it is troublesome even for Grandpa to refine it, and Mu Yun must know nothing about it. And recently, when Grandpa made the spirit gathering pill, he felt that the yield rate was too low and wanted to improve, but he has been suffering from nowhere. Today, just take this question and make Mu Yun completely unable to step down. Instructor of Animal Husbandry, the spirit gathering pill is a 3-tier pill, mainly by way Ganoderma lucidum, iron coral, poor root grass, and the third-order low-level monster the demon pill of Pufeng Qinglang, plus some auxiliary herbs, successfully refined. Instructor Mu, the first 3 medicinal materials are all indispensable materials for refining the spirit gathering pill, but why do you have to add the demon pill that breaks the wind green wolf? Miao Xianyu fluttered with big eyes, and asked with an immature face. Pooh! However, as soon as the words of Miao Xianyu fell, Mu Yun suddenly snorted, which teaches this. The spirit gathering pill is for the martial artist to step into the body tempering 8-fold pill gathering realm to condense the Yuan pill. What is the most important thing? Stability. Yuan Dan is unstable, and it is difficult to improve your realm in the future. Mu Yun angrily said, even though the demon pill of Pufeng Qinglang can neutralize the 3 main medicinal materials, it has almost finished the spiritual torture of the 3 main medicinal materials. The success rate is terrible, which idiot. The method of invention. Mu Yun suddenly felt that after 10,000 years, alchemy techniques had not improved, but had fallen behind. Hearing Mu Yun yelling, the whole class was silent. Bastard. Idiot. The spirit gathering pill can be said to be the universally recognized pill for the entire Tianyun continent. Moreover, the most important thing is that this is the medicine created by Yaguzi, a generation of medicine sage in Tianyun continent thousands of years ago. It is admired and noble by future generations, and Mu Yun opened his mouth to curse. Who the is an idiot? Mu Yun really thought that he could be compared with the generation of medicine saints thousands of years ago. But, hearing this, Miao Xianyu was stunned. Her grandpa said the same. Others are not too proficient in pill medicine, but she is very proficient in pill medicine. Moreover, at a young age, she was already a true 1-star alchemy master, and was known as a small alchemist genius throughout Beiyun City. Miao Xianyu did not expect that Mu Yun could see through this. The last question was sham, then this question is also sham. Then what should be done based on what the shepherd instructor said? Miao Xianyu shouted the shepherd instructor, but there was a hint of solution. The tone changed, and other students suddenly felt weird. Looking at Miao Xianyu's attitude, Mu Yun, it seems that he is not talking nonsense. What to do? Refining the spirit gathering pill with the demon pill of breaking wind blue wolf, naturally wasting the spirituality of the other 3 main medicines, and it will also increase the failure rate of pill refining. Mu Yun said to himself, the best is to use wind wolf's demon pill. Ha! Hearing Mu Yun's senior opinion, the whole classroom heard a burst of laughter again. Wind wolf. Instructor Mu, are you kidding us? Ha! Mo Yang couldn't help holding his stomach and bending over with a smile. Although we don't know much about alchemy, we have also taken a lot of alchemy classes. Wind wolf is only a tier 1 monster, and it is the lowest level. It has a lot of impurities and is used to refine the third-tier medicine pill gathering pill. Are you kidding me? Supreme God Emperor Chapter 4, Classroom Answers. Seeing Mo Yang's smiling face that was almost an idiot, Mu Yun was really speechless, and it was really difficult to explain to these little guys. On the other side, Miao Xianyu also smiled bitterly and shook his head. Originally, she thought that Mu Yun would come up with a good way, but she didn't expect. Wind Wolf's Demon Pill. The demon pill of the first-order demon beast Feng Lang is not pure in nature, and it does not have any spirituality in itself. Refining the three-level pill, Juling pill, cannot integrate the medicinal properties of the three kinds of Ganoderma lucidum pill. It seemed that I was really annoyed by my grandfather in the past few days, and I was indiscriminately in the doctor, and I actually wanted to get answers from Mu Yun, a well-known waist instructor. It's really ridiculous. Oh. Then according to this instructor, only relying on Wind Wolf's demon pill can make up for what Brofeng Qinglang cannot do, and improve the medicinal power and success rate of the spirit gathering pill. Of course not. Almost subconsciously, Mu Yun responded. After saying this, the door of the classroom was opened, and two figures walked in from the outside of the classroom. The first person, dressed in a gray robe, with gray hair, and a beard, looked 70 or 80 years old, but he was full of energy. Behind that person, a middle-aged man, bowed slightly, looked at the old man in front of him with a humble expression, and did not dare to breathe. The dean. Seeing the middle-aged man who looked a little nervous behind him, Mu Yun was stunned. Unexpectedly, the dean would come to inspect the classroom today, and, who is this old guy in front of him? However, the person who can make the dean of Beiyun College nervous, with Mu Yun's memory, it seems that the entire Beiyun city is unlikely to appear. Oh. How about that? Hearing Mu Yun's decisive answer, the gray-robed old man became interested and said with a smile, as everyone knows, the Wind Wolf is only a first-order monster, the level is too low, the demon pill is impure, and if it is used to refine the pill, there are too many impurities. Moreover, with the level of the Wind Wolf demon pill, it seems impossible to neutralize the medicinal properties of the three herbs of Bai Wei Lingji, iron coral, and poor root grass. It can't, but if you add some herbs, you can. What medicinal material? Ziyugua. Purple jade fruit. Hearing Mu Yun's answer, the students in the entire classroom were taken aback. They were stunned, not because the purple jade fruit is precious, but the purple jade fruit, it is too ordinary, it is almost worthless than the demon pill of the Wind Wolf, because almost the entire Nanyun Empire, in the mountains, everywhere. It can be said that Ziyuguo is a rotten street thing, and no one sells it even in the market. Because it is not worth buying or selling at all, who cares about things that are readily available? Purple Yugua. However, hearing Mu Yun's words, the gray-robed old man frowned and fell silent. Ziyugua, although it has no spirituality, it has an effect. It can gather and condense strands. The Wind Wolf demon pill is low in spirituality and can be gathered. It can indeed improve the spirituality of the Wind Wolf demon pill and replace the broken Wind Green Wolf. The demon pill, it's okay, but more than that. Mu Yun looked at the gray-robed old man's thinking expression, and said again, Ziyugua, there is also an effect, it can coagulate blood, not only can coagulate blood, but also can enhance its own effect while coagulating blood. Moreover, the most important point is that Ziyuguo can absorb the spirituality of the three medicinal materials of Bai Wei Ganoderma lucidum at the same time, turn them into their own use, and then recycle them to feed back to the three medicinal materials. As Mu Yun said one sentence after another, the gray-robed old man's eyes gradually brightened. That's right. Ziyuguo does have this effect, but no one would have thought that the demon pill of Wind Wolf, a low-level spirit beast, would be used instead of the demon pill of Wind Wolf Green Wolf. It would not even have occurred that with such a replacement, Ziyugua could be used to make up for Feng Lang's lack of spirituality. It was because the Wind Wolf demon pill and Ziyugua were so common that no one would even dare to use these two medicinal primers to refine the third-class pill. Moreover, Ziyuguo can also be used as a transit point, connecting the past and the next, which is even more unimaginable. Hi. Thinking carefully about what Mu Yun said, Mo Wen suddenly felt that this idea is very novel, I dare to think about it, and it really seems to have a great possibility to be realized. Even the medicine saint of that year did not expect this method. This young man, the thinking is very peculiar. Don't ask the old man, dare to ask the little brother's name. Thinking of this, Mo straightened the skirt and said respectfully, Mu Yun. Mu Yun responded at will. However, Mu Yun didn't take this simple self-introduction to Mo's heart, but it shocked Lu Xiaotian behind him in a cold sweat. The 30 or 40 students in the class were even more stunned, rubbing their eyes, stretching their heads, and staring at the old man in front of them. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 5, Do not ask the master. Don't ask who it is. No one knows its name in the entire Nanyun Empire. Nanyun Academy is the most authoritative academy in the Nanyun Empire, second to none in the entire Nanyun Empire. The status of Beiyun College is totally different from that of Nanyun College. And Mo1, it is the vice president of Nanyun College, the six-star alchemist, who has a reputation throughout the Nanyun Empire, and even the imperial family respectfully respects him and has been regarded as a guest of honor. Lu Xiaotian, the dean of Beiyun College, was really a trivial matter compared with Mo's deputy dean, and was not comparable at all. There are also many legends about Mo1. During the 11 years of the Southern Cloud Empire, the political situation was unstable and the surrounding two empires invaded. At that time, it was Mo1 who invented the Tiger Cloud pill, which enabled the soldiers to recover quickly, improved the combat effectiveness of the empire's fighters, and repelled the two empires. Invasion. During the 170 years of the Southern Cloud Empire, a disease occurred in the empire, and even the warriors were not immune to it, which greatly reduced the country's strength. It was also Mo1 who invented the Qingxin pill to get rid of the plague. It can be said that Mo1's reputation is not known to everyone in the entire Nanyun Empire. Many people mention Mo1 with a respectful look. Now, in the entire Nanyun Empire, there are very few people who can make Mo1's fancy. No one thought that because of Mu Yun's few words, Mo1 actually lowered his posture and asked Mu Yun's name. If it weren't for Dean Lu Xiaotian's humble attitude towards the elderly, 30 or 40 students would even doubt, is this really the master? Moreover, Lu Xiaotian knew that Master Mo1 was low-key, including this time when he came to Beiyun College to inspect, he was also quietly reporting his name to Mu Yun. Lu Xiaotian looked at Mu Yun suspiciously. Regarding Mu Yun, he didn't want it at all, but the Mu family branch had a prominent status in Beiyun city itself, and the Mu family's direct line was also deeply rooted in the Nanyun Empire. That's why Mu Yun stayed in Beiyun College. It's just that Mu Yun's performance is really bad. He is not a martial artist, and he can't read according to the textbook. He is so stupid that he has no friends. However, this fool today seems to be different in weekdays. Lu Xiaotian was not an alchemist, and didn't understand this spirit-gathering pill. However, Mo1 was very clear. The method mentioned by Mu Yun is feasible in theory, but in practice, it may be possible to succeed. If it is really successful, then use the Wind Wolf Demon pill and the Purple Jade Fruit, two kinds of medicinal materials that can be seen everywhere, to refine the 3-level pill, which is the spirit-gathering pill, which can be used to refine the pill in batches. Just think about it, the cost of gathering pill is so low, and a large amount of refinement is enough to increase the strength of the entire Nanyun Empire's warriors. In this way, the comprehensive national strength of the Nanyun Empire will increase, and it will certainly not be constrained as it is now in the face of empire invasions that are eyeing around. This is not what Lu Xiaotian could think of. The old man has another question I want to ask for advice. Mo1 arched his hand and said, the aperture refining pill can help the body tempering 9-layer psychic realm warrior condense the acupoints and enter the body tempering 10 reunion orifice realm. You can use white silk grass. The refined aperture transformation pill is ultimately weaker. For the martial artist who has stepped into the aperture gathering realm, a further step will leave a hidden wound. Then use Yang Ganoderma lucidum to balance it. Remember, you don't need a whole blood lucidum, you only need to take a very small amount of blood lucidum. 1 money is enough. Yang Lingxue mushroom. Hearing Mu Yun's words, Mo1 only felt like a divine enlightenment. Yes, Yang Lingxue is naturally full of masculine energy and strengthens the toughness of the white silk grass, which is perfect. Although Yang Lingxue mushroom is more precious, it is enough to refine a pot of medicine and add only $1. Wonderful. Wonderful. Mo1 couldn't help but admire. He didn't care about the hot gazes of Lu Xiaotian and the entire class. With a sigh of relief, Mo1 raised several doubts in his daily life, and Mu Yun was still answering them. The two seemed to have completely forgotten that there were a large group of students around, listening to their discussion in the mist. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 6, Incredible. Following the question, Mo1 discovered that Mu Yun's knowledge of alchemy was far beyond his knowledge. Although there were a few questions, Mu Yun would suggest some elixir spirits that he didn't even know, but when the solution didn't work, Mu Yun was able to come up with another way. What is the most important thing for alchemists? There is no doubt that it is Dan Fang. Often speaking, an elixir of pill is as precious as a family's life to an alchemist. But Mu Yun seemed to be a living pill, a kind of pill. He could actually tell several alchemy recipes. Incredible. It is incredible. What kind of identity is this Mu Yun? The Nanyan Empire has such a talented genius, but he commits himself to be a mentor in the small Beiyun Academy. It is really a talented person, a talented person. However, for Mu Yun, this is not a question. The name is good, but there are too many questions, and it is really too stupid. If Lu Xiaotian and 30 or 40 students knew what Mu Yun was thinking at the moment, they would probably spew out old blood. That's Master Mo. Brother Mu, old man. Don't ask brother, that, sorry, it's time to get out of class, I'm going home. Seeing that Mo1 was actually asking questions and not finished playing, Mu Yun had long lost patience. If it were not for the dean and the students in the class, Mu Yun would have issued an order to evict guests. However, when Lu Xiaotian, who was staying aside, heard Mu Yun's words, he almost peed out of his crotch. End of get out of class. Come back home. My God, this fool, do you know that, standing in front of him now is an alchemy master, stomping his feet, the whole Nanyan Empire is shaking 3 times. It is rare for Master Mo to ask without shame, this kid is impatient. Mu Yun really didn't know this. To blame, he could only blame the past Mu Yun, it was too dull. Old and abrupt. Hearing this, Mo1's face blushed, and he hesitated. The old man and the shepherd teacher hit it off right away. I wonder if I can go to the house to tell. What? Hearing Mo1's words, Mu Yun rolled his eyes. This old thing, still not satisfied, actually wanted to sit at home. This is simply the rhythm of eating and drinking enough to take away. However, seeing Lu Xiaotian nodding his head eagerly, Mu Yun said helplessly, come if you want to come. Impatiently waved his hand, Mu Yun swaggered out of the classroom. Mo1 bent over, followed behind Mu Yun, trotting all the way, and hurried to catch up. It looked like an old housekeeper beside Mu Yun. Lu Xiaotian's expression was bitter, and he hurriedly left the classroom and followed. This little ancestor, who didn't know where to get the hang of it today, actually responded to questions that even Master Maoan couldn't understand. But in spite of this, if this little offends Master Mo, if he doesn't know the heights of the sky, he is the dean, but he has done it well. For a moment, Mu Yun was in front, Mo1 followed, and Lu Xiaotian followed them. The students who left the class, one by one, seemed to be petrified. Is that really the famous Master Mo1 in the entire Nanyan Empire? Is that still the shepherd teacher whom they call Idiot Waste? At this moment, some students have already begun to doubt their worldview. Along the way, Mo1 kept asking Mu Yun, almost wanting to throw out all the doubts in the past few decades. It was just this way, but Mu Yun felt like a fly in his ears, buzzing constantly, making him very uncomfortable. Returning from the academy to his family, Mu Yun also knew that he used to be unwelcome in the Mu's house, and he ignored those who were in the house and walked towards his small courtyard. Master Mu Yun, Master and several elders of the family, are waiting for you in the living room. But just as Mu Yun was about to return to his courtyard, a strange voice of Yin and Yang sounded from behind. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 7, it's you. Mu Yun is no stranger to the voice behind him. Mu Qian is also the steward of the Mujia branch family in North Cloud City. This old thing really deserved his name Mu Qian, he only had money in his eyes, a typical power eye. Mu Yun knew that although he was assigned to the branch of North Cloud City, there was a monthly payment from his family every month for daily expenses. In the beginning, the animal husbandry money was deducted from his monthly payment, but later, he simply refused to give it. The former Mu Yun was dull by nature, low in status and afraid to speak, but today Mu Yun has been replaced by another person. What's the matter? Mu Yun said with a cold face, impatiently. What's the matter? Mu Qian put his hands behind his belly, and said in a gesture of looking down at the people, You mean bone, what else do you ask me? The patriarch and several elders have found a marriage for you. You go to meet, choose a date, and get married. It is really troublesome for me to go there for this kind of trivial matter. Mu Yun is 19 years old this year, and he is indeed at the age to get married. But the family arranged a marriage for him, but they had to make him doubt. He knew, what status was the former Mu Yun in the Mu family branch. What are you doing in a daze? Hurry up. Trash things, why, the family arranges your marriage for you, so you forget about it happily. Seeing Mu Yun staying still, Mu Qian couldn't help cursing. This guy feels weird today. In the past, every time he asked him to do something, he would only nod his head to do it. Today, it is different. Lu Xiaotian and Mo Wen who stood behind Mu Yun couldn't help frowning when they heard Mu Qian's shout. After all, Mu Yun was also a young master, and it was indeed a bit shame to be scolded by a subordinate. But Mu Yun smiled bitterly, and took a step forward, looking at Mu Qian. The physical body is a heavy tempering realm. Such kind of stuff, even dared to speak rudely to oneself. Taking a step forward again, Mu Yun rubbed his palms. Snapped. Suddenly, without warning, Mu Yun slapped Mu Qian's face, and a clear slap on his face sounded, and the scene was silent for an instant. Mu Yun lifted his palms, and a red palm print appeared on Mu Qian's face, and his cheeks gradually swelled. Do you dare to hit me? Snapped. Another clear palm print appeared on Mu Qian's other cheek, and Mu Qian's cheeks were completely swollen. You are the one who beat me. Remember, I am the young master of the Mu family, and you are a servant of the Mu family. If you scold me like this in the future, it won't be a matter of slaps. Abandoning these words, Mu Yun turned and left. It's really a tiger falling in Pingyang and being bullied by a dog. A little housekeeper dared to call himself a trash and a bone. Mu Yun understood deeply that the most urgent task now was to improve his strength. It's just that the physical quality of this body is really too bad. She just slapped Mu Qian severely, his hands seemed to be broken, and there was a burst of pain. It seems that improving the strength is imminent. Seeing Mu Yun's resolute vigor, he slapped Mu Qian with 2 slaps as if he had deleted Mu Qian. Lu Xiaotian and Mo Wen behind him had different thoughts. Lu Xiaotian had always known that Mu Yun was cowardly in nature, and had always been resigned to accept it. Today, it seems that he has completely changed. In the past, he absolutely did not believe that Mu Yun dared to call Mu Qian a big mouth. It's just that this scene fell into Mo Wen's eyes, but it was another kind of understanding. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 8, Finger Marriage. After all, Mo Wen was a 6-star alchemist, and it was not difficult for him to see that Mu Yun could not even count as the first level of body tempering realm. Doing things so decisively, this Mu Yun does not seem simple, at least it is a person with personality. Mu Yun didn't bother to know what Lu Xiaotian and Mo Wen were thinking. 2 slaps slapped the Mu Qian and left. If Mu Qian reacted and really wanted to fight him hard, Mu Yun would be really hard to resist. At this moment, there were a dozen seats in the Mu's hall, full of seats. There were 2 people sitting in the first seat, one of whom was about 40 years old, with slightly white sideburns, sharp eyes, and a calm demeanor while talking and laughing. This person is exactly Mu Linchen, the patriarch of the Mu family's branch in Beiyun City. The other person, dressed in a black robe, with long hair as white as snow, was an old man with a short stature. He. Mrs. Qin, Yuner in my family is introverted and doesn't like to talk. Don't be dissatisfied if you see you in a while. Looking at the black robe old man, Mu Linchen smiled slightly, but there was some worry in that smile. The old man is the old man Qin Shiyu of the Qin family in North Cloud City. The Qin family is also a big family in North Cloud City with strong strength. The chief shepherd is joking, the child of Mu Yun is a bit more introverted, but my Yaoer, you know. This time, my Qin and Mu too married, mainly to remind some people with ulterior motives, let the Wang family and the Jiao family, don't dare to mess around. Grandpa Qin took a sip of tea, and his eyes fell on the girl behind him. The girl has a slim figure, her skin is like fat, the white inside is red, gentle like jade, and she is crystal clear. The flexibly turning eyes turned wisely, a bit naughty, a bit mischievous, wearing a light blue dress with a tight waist. Between the eyebrows, there is a natural spirituality. However, the girl's face was covered by a white veil, making it difficult to see her appearance. "Foster father, I heard you are looking for me." At this moment, a lazy voice sounded in the hall. The visitor was Mu Yun, wearing an ink-colored gown, with chalk dust on his forehead, long hair tied behind his head, towering high, with a strand of hair in front of his forehead, his hands behind him. Mu Yun's face was with a patient expression. He walked into the hall. Seeing Mu Yun coming in, Mu Linchen only felt his eyes shine. I don't know why, Mu Yun today looks very different from usual. Yuner, this is the old lady of the Qin family, and this is Miss Qin Mengyao of the Qin family. Looking at Mu Yun, a smile appeared on Mu Linchen's face. The gaze directly ignored the old lady Qin, and fell on Qin Mengyao, who was aside. The little girl's figure is convex and concave, her big eyes flicker and flicker, she is very agile, but her face is covered with gauze, and she can't see what she looks like. If she has a pretty face and a figure, she is a standard peerless beauty. It's just covered with a veil, I'm afraid it doesn't look good. Mu Yun doesn't want to turn off the lights when he is with his future wife. That's boring. Moreover, Mu Yun is also very upset about the family's finger marriage. Foster father, you are looking for a child. That's it. Our Mu family is going to marry the Qin family, and the foster father has ordered a good marriage for you, so. I reject. Before Mu Linchen could finish speaking, Mu Yun immediately refused. The whole Mu family, that is, Mu Linchen, is kind to Mu Yun. At this point, Mu Yun merged with his memory, and he knew that Mu Yun had a lot of respect for this foster father. Therefore, even if he is oppressed and does not want to cause trouble to his foster father, he will bear it down. Otherwise, Mu Yun is now lazy to take care of it. It's just that Mu Linchen cared about Mu Yun, but most of the people in the Mu family were unhappy with Mu Yun. Mu Yun knew that once he refused, a group of people would definitely jump out, pointing at himself and cursing. Bastard! Sure enough, Mu Yun's words had just fallen, and the time rang with a scolding. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 9, Questioning. Bastard! Along with a scolding, a figure stood up from the chair. Hearing this voice, Mu Yun knew who it was without having to look. Mu family Grand Elder Mu Feng Yuan. Mu Yun knew that this old thing secretly let the children of his own line attack the previous Mu Yun, insulting at the slightest, and beating at the worst. In the past 10 years of the Mu family, Mu Yun can be said to have been bullied from childhood to adulthood, so he has become so cowardly. Mu Yun, do you know that Miss Qin looks like an immortal and is good for you? That is because our Mu family has taken a big advantage. You are the toad who ate the swan meat, and you are not willing. You know that the patriarch is busy with your marriage. How long is it? Mu Fengyuan reprimanded loudly, and almost smashed Mu Yun's head, and the whole hall was fluttering stars. Elder, I'm not deaf. Could you please keep your voice down? Rolling his eyes, Mu Yun made a cut, and said, Qin Mengyao, Miss Qin, is beautiful and celestial. My toad doesn't have the life of eating swan meat. Since Miss Qin is so beautiful, give it to Elder Mu Lang. He is your most beloved grandson. He has a beautiful appearance. It just so happens, don't you think? Oh. Mu Yun's words fell, and the hall was silent, but a laugh seemed a little harsh. The laughter came from Qin Mengyao's mouth. Seeing everyone's eyes focused on him, Qin Mengyao knew he was rude, lowered his head and stopped making a sound. On the other hand, the lungs of the great elder are going to explode. Every time in the past, when making a decision about Mu Yun, at the very beginning, the great elder would always yell at Mu Yun reasonably and well. Short-circuiting Mu Yun's head, this guy didn't dare to talk back and agreed to everything. Today, Mu Yun dared to talk back. Mu Yun, what contribution have you made to the family in the past 10 years in Baiyun City? But the family has raised you this waste for 10 years. Now, when it's time for you to repay, you actually refute? Do you want to do it in the Mu family? A lifetime meal? At this moment, another rap sound also rang. The second elder of the Mu family, Mu Fengqin. Oh, that's how emotionally speaking, Mu Lang and Mu Yuan seem to eat more than me, so do they have more food than me? I know, they don't seem to have made any contribution to the Mu family. Can you compare with them? They will be the pillars of my shepherd's family in the future, they are geniuses, what are you? The elder said again, with contempt in his eyes. Did Mu Yun take the wrong medicine today? Actually dared to refute again and again. The two elders looked at each other and were a little surprised. Oh shit. Mu Yun's heart was already completely angry at this moment. As the immortal king of thousands of great worlds in his previous life, he was forced to such a situation. The two immortal people in front of him would have gone up for a while if it hadn't been for the scumming of his body. The patriarch, the great elder, and the second elder, you have to call the shots for the old. As soon as the second elder stood up here, a crying voice sounded outside the hall. Mu Qian's cheek swelled on both sides, he knelt in with a puff, and cried, the old man just notified the young master Mu Yun to come to the hall to discuss matters, but he urged him a little bit. Unexpectedly, the little beast of Mu Yun slapped his mouth. Son, please also ask the patriarch, the first elder, and the second elder to call the shots. What? Seeing Mu Qian's cheek swollen, the second elder pointed at Mu Yun and cursed, okay you Mu Yun, Butler Mu has been in my Mu's house for more than 20 years and has been loyal to him. How dare you hit him? Hit him. Mu Yun hummed, as a servant, yelling at the young master, with the sentence on the left and the sentence on the right, shouldn't it be beaten? You shut up. The second elder raged to the sky, Mu Yun, I think you have turned your back, beating your servants, resisting clan orders, and keeping your family law intact. It seems you don't know how to repent. Foster father, no matter what, I will not agree to this marriage. Mu Yun ignored the first elder and second elder, and directly said to Mu Linchen. Mu Linchen was also a little embarrassed. He didn't expect that Mu Yun would refuse so neatly today. Supreme God Emperor Chapter 10, Education. Miss Qin's family, Qin Mengyao, was born with the beauty of the country, but she was destined to not live to be 20 years old. Otherwise, the Qin family would not use this marriage to unite the herd family, let alone choose Mu Yun. This matter has become troublesome. If you don't agree, you have to agree. The great elder walked directly in front of Mu Yun, his eyes widened, and there was a big discrepancy, so he wanted to make a move. Why? Great eyes? Want to hit me? Mu Yun suddenly turned around and said to the outside of the hall, Dean Lu, someone wants to assault your instructor at Baiyun College. You don't care about it. Control. Damn it. Hearing these words, Lu Xiaotian, who was standing outside the hall, suddenly cursed in his heart. Mu Yun, this little bastard, who resisted himself to death and alive, was so tough that he couldn't hold it anymore, so he moved him out. If you put it in the past, Lu Xiaotian would not care about this kind of family affairs at all. After all, Baiyun College is an imperial college, and even if the forces of Baiyun City are in full swing, no one dares to offend Baiyun College. But now it's different. Just now Mu Yun still made Master Mo admire the 5-body cast. At this time, if he didn't stand up, he would definitely not be pleased in front of Master Mo. Huh, Chief Shepherd, Chief Qin, it's been a long time, it's been a long time. Hearing Mu Yun's words, Lu Xiaotian walked in from outside the hall and said with a smile, come here uninvited today, and look at Hai Han. At this moment, Mo didn't speak, just smiled slightly, and followed Lu Xiaotian, like an old servant. Lu Xiaotian knew that Master Mo didn't like publicity, and that Master Mo came to the Mu's house only to ask Mu Yun. A family like the Mu's family, in the eyes of Master Mo, is nothing like a fart, and Lu Xiaotian did not dare to talk too much. Dean Lu, please, please. Unexpectedly, Lu Xiaotian actually came. The Grand Elder's expression changed, and he hurriedly bowed his hands and guided Lu Xiaotian to his position. Mu Linchen and Qin Shiyu also stood up and greeted them with a smile. Lu Xiaotian, but the dean of the entire Beiyun College, and the family disciples in Beiyun City, almost all received education and learned martial arts at Beiyun College. This was also set up by the Nanyan Empire to improve its national strength, so the Beiyun Academy actually belonged to the empire. In Beiyun City, family power may rise from one generation to the next, and one generation will be lonely, but Beiyun College will never fail. Moreover, Lu Xiaotian is the dean, and his actual rights are much stronger than those of the patriarchs of these local families. The most important thing is that the family disciples are studying at Beiyun College, so they should be polite to Dean Lu. Dean Lu, I didn't expect you to come today. It's really, let you see the joke. The elder smiled apologetically, as if he was flattering. By the way, I just dropped by. Mentor Mu Yun is my college tutor after all. Come and see, that's right. Lu Xiaotian smiled sloppily. In his heart, he scolded Mu Yun all over. This little bastard, if it weren't for Master Mo's presence today, I wouldn't bother to care about him life and death. Dean Lu, you are here just right today, Mu Yun, this kid, who doesn't listen to family arrangements and beat the servant, you just educate him. The elder glanced at Mu Yun and said to Lu Xiaotian. Education? Oh my god, Mu Fengyuan, you are immortal, don't bother me. Hearing what the great elder said, Lu Xiaotian's heart was about to jump out.